Alright, this is Unit 4A review. So just a reminder, I will be grading your homework tonight, your review sheet, for correct answers tomorrow for accuracy. So please watch carefully and make sure your answers match the answers on my video. Let's get started. So the first one says to rewrite percents as fractions, use the blank as the numerator and the blank as the denominator. Okay? So we use the, if you remember, we use the number in front of percent sign as the numerator and 100, oh goodness, and 100 as the denominator. Then we simplify, cross out, reduce, and write simplify. You know I hate that word. Okay? So for example, if we have 24% and I want to write it as a fraction, it is 24 over 100. And then I simplify and I get 12, or I'm going to simplify by 2 over 2, I get 12 over 50. And that's all I can do, okay? So write it as the number in front of the percent sign over 100 and then simplify. To write percents as decimals. Now we're going from percents to decimals. We swoop the decimal point 2 places to the left to get rid of, and then we get rid of the percent sign. Okay, and easy way to remember whether you're swooping left or right is, so let's say we have 34%. If you want to get it away from the percent sign, if you want to take it away from the percent, you swoop away from the percent sign. So you swoop 2 to the left and you get 0.34. Next one, I'm rewriting decimals, and to write decimals as percents, change my color here. To write decimals as percents, we swoop again. We still swoop 2 places. Okay, we still swoop 2 places, but this time we're going towards the percent sign to the right. So if I have 0.17 and I want to get it to a percent, I swoop 1, 2, and add my percent sign. So I get 17%. Uh-oh. So we swoop it to the right and we add the percent sign. And remember, a percent sign is a circle, a slash, and another circle. So lastly, to write decimals as fractions, we use the number behind the decimal as the numerator and the place value as the denominator. Then we simplify, cross out, reduce, write simplify. Okay? And when you'll hear me do this in class, say I have 0.375. 375 is my numerator. My denominator is the placeholders. So how I do this is I count the zeros, or I count the digits to the right of my decimal. So I'll have 1, 2, 3. So I need a 1 followed by that many zeros. And then I simplify this guy. Okay? So you take the numerator and then you figure out what your denominator is by the amount of places to the right of my decimal. That is something that you're going to have to know for tomorrow. Rewriting fractions. Okay, so to write fractions as percents, we use long division to change the fraction to a decimal. Then we swoop the decimal point 2 places to the right, because I'm trying to get close to the percent sign, and we add the percent sign. So say I have 3/4 Okay, if I use long division, and I know you know how to do this, so I'm going to go quickly, I get 0.75, and then I swoop, which gives me 75%. You cannot go straight from fractions to a percent. Okay, there needs to be that middle step. And lastly, to write fractions as decimal, think top dog in the house and divide. So if you have 3/8, the 3 goes underneath the house and the 8 goes outside. Alright, so now we're at the point, if we flip over on the back, we're at the point where we need to complete the chart with equivalent fractions, decimals, and percents. We need to simplify all fractions, okay? And this is super, super important that you show me all of your work when you do this. So if you make a silly little mistake, I can easily tell where your silly little mistake came from. So I'm going to go from a fraction to a decimal first. So I know my top dog needs to go in the house, and I'm doing long division. So if I have 3 divided by 8, goes in 0 times, so I need to add a 0 and a decimal. 8 goes into 30 3 times, which is 24. I get 6. Bring down my 0. 8 goes into 67 times. I get 56, which is 4. Bring down my 0, and I get 40. 8 goes into 45 times. So 3/8 as a decimal is 0.375. Okay, and to get a decimal to a percent, I swoop towards the percent sign. So 2 swoops to the right, and I get 37.5%. Next one, I have the decimal of 0.18. Okay, and I'm going to change my decimal to a percent. Same way, you swoop towards the percent sign, so I swoop once and twice, and I get 18%. And I know, now I'm going over the fraction, I know that 18%, it means 18 out of 100, because that percent sign means out of 100. So I know that it's 18 out of 100, but then I also know that I can simplify that guy. If I divide the top and the bottom by 2, it leaves me with 9 out of 50, and that is my final answer. Okay? Next one, I have 36%. Once again, that I know 36% means 36 out of 100. And if I simplify that, I'm going to divide the top and the bottom by 4. And I get 9 out of 25. And now I want to find the decimal. And the easiest way, I think, to find the decimal is take the percent and change it into a decimal. And I do that by swooping away from the decimal point 2 times. And I get 0.36 as my decimal. Alright, last 3, I have 4/5. And I want to find a decimal and a percent. Now this one, I'm going to use the equivalent fraction mode to find my percent. So I know that something times 5 is going to give me something over 100. Okay, and I know that 20 times 5, is 100. So I need to multiply the top and the bottom both by 20, and that gives me 80 out of, gosh, this keeps moving, gives me 80 out of 100. So 80 out of 100 I know is 80%. And to get a percent to a decimal, I know I need to swoop 2 to the left to get away from this percent sign. So I swoop once, swoop twice, and I get 0.8 as my decimal. Alright, 0.575 is given to me. I need to find a fraction and a percent. I'm first going to find the percent. So I'm going to swoop once and twice to the left to get towards the percent sign. which gives me 57.5%. Now I need to make this decimal into a fraction. And this is the one where the numerator is what's to the left of, or to the right of the decimal point, which is 575. In my denominator, I count how many places there are to the right of my decimal, which is 1, 2, 3. So I have a 1 followed by 3 zeros. And then I need to simplify that. If I divide both the top and the bottom by 25, and you can take many more steps to get to this point, but if I divide the top and the bottom by 25, my most simple form is 23 out of 40. Okay, so now my last one, I'm taking 40% and I'm changing it into a fraction, and I'm changing it into a decimal. So how I do this is I'm first going to change the percent to a decimal, and I do this by swooping away from the decimal point. So I swoop once away, twice away to the left, and I get 0.4. And now I'm taking a decimal and writing it as a fraction. And I could either know that 40% is 40 out of 100, and I'm going to do that now. I know that 40% means 40 out of 100, so that's my fraction is 40 out of 100, and I need to simplify that bad guy. So I'm going to divide the top and the bottom both by 20. And I get 2/5, and that is my most simplified answer. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to email me tonight, and I will get back to you with an answer. Have a great night, and please study for your test tomorrow. Thank you.